got to know your lineage. You got to know it's not no goodness of your own that you are in here tonight. But you ought to be thankful for your mama that prayed you through. You ought to be thankful for your daddy that stayed up and was fasting for you. You ought to be thankful for your pastor tonight. My God, that was praying for you at the midnight hour. Oh, come on out of here, you dry demon. As a matter of fact, take the next 30 seconds and celebrate somebody else that prayed for you. Clap your hand and say, thank God for them. Know who you are. Talks about his lineage and says, listen, this is not anything that I've done, but it's because of the shoulders, the men and women of God whose shoulders I stand on. That's why I celebrate these senior elders, these senior bishops in the Lord's church. I'm not celebrating them because they got the title of bishop, but I'm celebrating them because they are men who have stood the test of time. Celebrating them because if they had not heard from God, we wouldn't have a church to go to in Danville. You are not letting nobody outscream you for your pastor. I'm talking good, but y'all don't like me. He says here, he says, I know this and I remember where I came from. He said, but while I was thinking about my history, he said, the word of the Lord. Notice, sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he does not say the word of the prophet came to me. It does not say that the word of the television evangelist came to me. It didn't say the word of Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook came to me. It did not say the word of the preacher came to me. It did not say the word of my friend came to me, but it said the word of the Lord. And too many of us are jacked up because we're hearing the word from everybody else, but not hearing the word from the Lord. Y'all don't like me. Look at somebody and tell them, say, I know you got good stuff to say. Y'all quiet. I said, look at somebody and tell them, I know you got good stuff to say. But right about now, I need a word from the Lord. I know you got a good crusade. I know you got 15 scriptures that you can quote about me and my situation right now. But I don't really need you to really talk about me and what I'm going through. What I need is a word from God. He says, the word of the Lord came to him. And the word of the Lord came to him and says, listen, Jeremiah, I want you to know something. He says, before I formed you in your mama's belly, he says, as a matter of fact, before your mama and your daddy got together, before your daddy got with your mama and your mama got with your daddy, he says, I already knew who you were. He says, I knew the day you were going to be born. I knew the color of your hair. I knew the color of your eyes. I knew, my God, I knew how many teeth were going to be in your mouth. I knew how tall you were going to be. I knew how much you were going to weigh. I knew what hospital you were going to be born in. He says, I knew everything about you before you were ever conceived in your mother's belly. He says, I knew you. I need you to lay hands on yourself and say, God knows me. He says, not only did I know you, but he says, I called you for. He said, I sanctified you. And let me talk to y'all tonight who think that you can run from holiness. You can't run from living holy. I know I won't get no shadows right there. Y'all don't want to dance off of holiness, I see. If I told you in the next 3 days you're going to get a new husband, you'd be up shouting, run all over the church. Having traffic jams on aisle 1, 2, and 3. But because I told you to live holy and stop shacking up with that man that ain't your husband, y'all don't like me. Because I told you to get Sue out. Oh, no, I'm sorry, really. This is the new church. This ain't Sue no more. Because I told you to get Shaniqua and Ray Ray and Nene out your bed. And y'all ain't married. You don't like me. I got one praise. Because I told you to stop lying with your lying self. Stop backbiting with your double-tongue talk. He He says, I sanctified you. I called you out to be separate. He said, you don't have no choice but to live holy because I called you to be holy. And he says, not only that, but I ordained thee and made you a prophet unto the nation. He says, I gave you a word. So my question tonight is, who told you not to release the word that's in your mouth? Why is it that God has to twist your arm for you to open up your mouth and release the word? Why is it that you've been sitting on the anointing and the call and the gift that God has placed in your life and has been there for years, and you're just now saying, maybe God? You don't have time to say maybe. It's either do or don't. Some of y'all tonight, that's the last word that you need to hear. Because you've been struggling, should I not? God said, you ain't got time to be going back and forth between a rock and a hard place. He says, choose ye this day whom you're going to serve. What you going to do with what I gave you? He says, I put a word in your mouth, and then you started giving me excuses. So I can't talk because I'm a kid. I can't talk because I'm too young. I started preaching at the age of 12 years old. And I wrestled with God, saying, God, I'm too young to be preaching. He said, so, and how old was I when I entered into the ministry? He said, who asked you how old you were? I already know. Why is it that when God gives us a commandment and gives us a mandate, we always giving him excuses? All right, that one wasn't good enough. Say, I'm a child. He says, all right, I know you're a child, but go where I tell you to go. Say what I tell you to say. But God, they're going to look at me funny. He says, be not afraid of their faces. Point number one, you got to know who you are. But secondly, you got to know what you were born to do. Tell somebody, I got to know what I was born to do. He says, be not afraid of their faces. In other words, what he says is, I know people are going to look at you funny. They're going to look at you cross-eyed. They're going to look at you cockeyed. They're going to roll their eyes. They're going to sneer at you. He says, don't be worried about how people look at you. He says, as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to deliver you from how you feel about other people looking at you. He says, I'm going to deliver you from the spirit of offense. Can I prophesy to 20 people right now that will start praising God because this is the release that you need? The Lord said, I'm getting ready to bless you and I'm getting ready to deliver you, and you're no longer going to be worried about what other people got to say about you. As a matter of fact, when I give you this release, it's going to push you into the place you need to be and the place that you always wanted to go. Oh God. He says here, I'm almost finished. He says, I'm going to deliver you, said the Lord. He says, then the Lord put forth his hand. He put forth his hand and he touched his mouth. And the Lord said unto me, behold, I put my words in your mouth. He says, don't be worried about trying to find something to say. Y'all know, preachers, we struggle sometimes trying to find something to say. Because sometimes the brook dries up. And we seem like we done preached everything already and they still didn't get it. So we go back and preach something else that we ain't preaching about. Let's see if they're going to get it this time. All right, I'm just talking about me now. All right, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Because he says, be not worried. Because I put a word in your mouth. Look at somebody and says, I got a word in my mouth. I got a word in my mouth. He says, because this day He says, you got to know what you were born to do. He says, this day, he said, not only did I put a word in your mouth, but I set you over nations. Why are you worried about trying to fit into a circle when I called you to nations? Why are you trying to fit into a clique when I called you to be the ticker? Y'all ain't gonna help me. Hey, why are you trying to figure out why certain people don't like you when I got a whole nation of people that are waiting on you to rise up and come forward? He says, I set you over the nations and over the kingdoms to root out, to pull down, and to destroy, and to throw down, to build, and to plant. I said, God, show me something here in this text that will bless your people tonight. He says they got to know what they were born to do. He says, son, tell my people that they were born to raise hell. I said, God, you got me cussing in church, and that's not going to be nice. Bishop Kidd and Dr. Campbell going to put me out of there because that's not even nice. That ain't good to be said. The saints going to look at me funny like y'all looking at me now. I said, God, you got to help me before I kill myself up there trying to preach tonight. He says, son, go to the dictionary and read what the definition is. I went to R-A-I-S-E. It means to build up. It means to bring up. It means to build. I said, God, that is not what the text says. He says, that's because you look at the wrong definition, son. He says, scroll down, looking at the definition. And I said, God, which one? He says, look at the word raise. R-A-Z-E. And the word raise means to tear down, to demolish, to level, to the